Are we live?
We're live.
All right. Take 473. It's Chris Homestead and Hardway. And I've been talking to people on the phone, emails and stuff, and had a few questions we need to answer. And had somebody tell me they just wanted to see a video, wanted to see the pigs. So we're going to do a little quick video. We're in the middle of remodeling everything. Honestly, doing stuff I should have done when I built it, and knew I should have done when I built it. There, she'll show you the bolt. We started with the bolt in the pen that was empty. So we're trying to put a little paint on them. And yes, silver paint covers better. We figured that out. Silver paint goes further, covers better, and it's traditional around here. Most sheds and barns and stuff are silver. We've painted some of them white. White paints, it don't cover nothing like that. We dry poured concrete under these shelters. Should have done that when I built them. But there's some disadvantages to concrete under your shelters, and we decided if we didn't have to do it, we won't go to. But what you run into in some pens, it depends on how the grade is on the pen, but they'll do it in all of them. They go under the shelter and dig a deep hole. Then when we have a hurricane or a bad rainstorm, the shelter fills up with water. The rest of the pen is dry, but the shelter fills up with water. So what we've done is we've dry poured concrete. Now, I watched YouTube videos. I talked to a couple people who've done it. I'll let you know later how good it works. I think it'll be suitable for a hog pen shelter. It's ugly. We tried rolling it with a paint roller, several different ways of doing it. The only way I think you could really get it to look good would be if the top 2 or 3 bags were mortar mix. I think that would be a wise way of doing it, is get it close to being ready to screed off and put mortar mix on top of it instead of another bag of concrete. If you'll see the way each side's open, that works a whole lot better than one door in the middle. That way, you know, that shelter's bare minimum big enough for 2 or 3 big hogs, and that way they don't have to try to turn around inside of it in each other's way. So we'll show you all that when we get through with it. We're just, some of the smaller piglet pens, we're putting stall mats in the floors, filling them back up with dirt and putting stall mats. Something I'll warn you about, asphalt roof sealer. Asphalt coal tar is highly toxic to pigs. Highly toxic. It's actually against the law to have any around accessible to the pig if you're going to be selling pigs for meat to the public. So bear that in mind. We had a little whoop-de-doo with it. We put some asphalt roof sealer on all the tin and had to go back and take it down. And you got to be very careful about what you spill on the ground. So if you use it, it's fine on your roof, but make sure you put a tarp down or something so you catch any splatter. And don't put it where the pigs can access it. You'll tell them about the silver paint covers better?
Yes.
In this video or the one we tried to do ago? Anyway, if I didn't already say it, we painted some of them white, painted some of them silver. The silver paint covers much better and goes much farther. And plus it matches the asphalt sealer that's on the roof. What else was it we were going to talk about? Oh, the friendly pigs. I don't know. He's the daddy to him. He's the cause of it. Show him the old boy over there. Now, he's been right here wanting me to pet him the whole time we've been out here. And he's walked off now. But I don't know what it is with genetics on him. But he throws the friendliest pigs. We're talking about pet pig friendly. Like puppy dog friendly.
Yeah.
Like come up and want you to scratch him friendly. And we have some pigs that are pretty good temperament. We don't have any that like want you to pet them.
Until now.
I
They
mean,
come up and they want you to rub their noses and scratch their ears. It's so cute.
Well, we've had some that if you mess with them would kind of tame down. But we ain't never had any that was born tame. And I think that's probably a good thing for breeding stock. And we're going to show y'all some of the other end of everything. Come on in here. Back on. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is one of my gold sows. She's actually one of my favorite gold sows. But last year she had a pig hang up in her. And since then she's only had half a litter each time. There's probably some mummified pigs inside of her screwing everything up. But she's only having 4 to 6 pigs at the go instead of 12, 15 like we like to see. And we're going to have to cover. This is her last litter. We're going to send it at auction. But I want you to look at the color on these pigs. Now this will make more sense in just a minute. That listed board, a red listed board, is called a red Hampstead Daddy. And there may be a little bit of white pig in him. There may be a little bit of Yorkshire in him. And there's just a little bit of Chester white and spot in the original cross that made these gold pigs. Great grandparent was a spot on this one in particular. And if you'll see, we're getting some throwback genetics. We're getting some lighter color pigs and spots off of this sow. Just this sow. And one other one I have. And, you know, we've talked about it before. White pigs don't sell good. They're very seldom totally white. They've usually got a red head or red spots or spots. And she'll throw a blue butt. We've got a few blue butt pigs on them. And that's not really desirable for what we're doing. So, and really the straw with her was the small litters. But she's had 2 small litters in a row. And one of the bad things about it, if you're doing this and you've got to make it make money, you've got to cull hard. If you got something not doing right, you can't afford to feed it. And while she has gorgeous pigs, she has some of the best pigs we have, but she don't have enough of them, and she's not producing enough to pay for the feed to feed her all year. All right, I don't know where the rest of them are. There's more than that in there. Oh, they're coming around now. But this is what we usually get off that cross, off a gold sow and that listed board. You'll get a spotted pig occasionally, and your listed pig kind of like that one. Most of the litter by far will be these red listed pigs, which is exactly what we want. But these pigs aren't hungry. They're wanting attention. I've never had them that just wanted you to pet them like this. I've never.
Scratch their noses. See, they love it. They love for you to scratch their nose.
Well, the bad thing about this, I can't get my arm through the. Of course, Mama's pretty friendly. There's that board that's doing. That's where these nets are coming from for that temperament. But never have had it happen. Every once in a while you get a friendly pig. And we had one in the last litter, a little boar that we turned into a pet. I know I tell you not to do that, and it's not smart. But
I was super attached.
he was like a puppy. I mean, we had to be real selective about where he went. I mean, it was pure foolish, but we done it, you know. Okay, we're going, like I said, we talked about the fact we're going to cull that sow. I want you to look at what all pigs can tear up. That was the question I need to answer. If you'll see the bottom down there where they've rolled that tin up, something that I did that you need to do better than me on. All these shelters are built out of rough cut lumber. Well, here we have a major problem with termites. So I spaced the lumber up off the ground and then run the tin down to the dirt. And you don't need to do that. You need to have a bowl right at the bottom where the tin bolts. Or they're going to do that. They're going to tear it up around the edges. What we're going to do here is we're going to come back and just cut the tin off since it's messed up anyway. And go back and bolt a treated board around the bottom of these two and then paint the shelter. I'm going to show you another problem we're having. Really, 2 problems here. A couple of them are pretty common, a couple of them ain't. Wherever you feed your hogs at, they're gonna make a hole. I don't know if you can tell it or not. We discovered in videos, it's hard to see really what's going on. But this right here is dug out a good 2.5 foot. And they've dug out enough on this sand. You might not have this problem where you're at, depending on the soil type. But here in this sand, if they dig out on one side, it'll flow. And it'll run down. And it's made a pretty substantial hole. It's aggravating when you go to feed them. And they dug out so much, if you look at the shelter, you see when the shelter's off the ground. So what we're going to have to do here is replace that sheet of tin, Same thing as with the other ones. You had to go around with another 2x8 around the bottom. And then I'm just going to take the Bobcat and backfill this with sand. And then we're going to pour concrete right here. If you pour concrete for your feeders and waters, you need to understand it needs to be really heavy. We might take you down to the other end and show you where they've slid pads out of the way. Where they've slid pads of concrete that weigh 500 pounds out of the way. Slide them right to the middle of the pen. Now, we came up with a solution for that I'm going to tell you about. If when you form your concrete, if you'll take the post hole diggers and dig 3 holes, top 2 corners, one in the middle at the bottom, however you want to do it, maybe this deep, say a foot deep, about this big around, like a coffee can. So when you pour that concrete, it's got 3 pieces coming down into the dirt where they can't slide it. They can't pick it up and tote it. All they can do is slide it. So if you put those 3 pieces coming off the bottom, they can't slide it. Seems to work better. And we've decided that 6 80-pound bags is the bare minimum. And that's about a 2.5 by 3 foot slab with those pieces coming out off the bottom. With a rough cut 2x4 framework. And we're not going to dry pour any of those. Like I said, we dry poured the slabs under these shelters because it was the easiest way to do it. And I think it'll probably hold. I think it's probably strong enough, but I didn't. It was awfully aggravating to try to finish it. And like I said, if you were going to do it that way, I'd probably get it close to being up to the top of the form, then use mortar mix instead of concrete. If you wanted these, like if you were pouring a slab, somebody's gonna look at it. That's another one of our gold sows. She's doing pretty good. We've got everything in. With only having the number of farmhouses we have to be mighty careful about breeding. We can't have 4 sows having it at the same time, so we've got to space it out. And it's not uncommon for a sow not to catch, boy not get her bred, not come and heat when you think she's going to. And that's really aggravating. That'll really mess you up. The other thing I want to show you while we're right here. These tractors supply hog panels. This one right here's been welded back together. Like I think the rung below it's been, yeah, you can see where we've welded it back together. The welds on them ain't worth nothing. These panels right here are easy. Well, they're 1950s. They're from the 1950s. Come out in the old hog house. No issues. I've got some down here that I bought 40 years ago. No issues. The only problem we've ever had previously was with them rusting off at the bottom. I ain't never had a weld clean. But these tractor supply panels, every pin we put them in, the welds are broke with these hogs. And I don't know if you can tell it, they've pure broke pieces out. I don't know if we need to come bring the welder around here and we'll try to weld them back together. Or just replace them. I ain't real sure what to do. But I think that's about all we needed to cover. I'm not sure. Thought there was something else. Oh, feed. We got some questions about feeding pigs. And something I need to talk about right quick. This may be the most important thing in the video. Something I hear a whole lot. I see it every day. And I don't understand it because I've made I don't know how many videos explaining to people what it takes to feed a pig. How much a pig is going to eat. You know, it takes on a good pig. It's only worse if you have a good pig. If you got a Piney Woods Rooter, all bets are off. But on a good pig, you can pretty well count. You're not going to do any better on the ground, outside on the ground. You're not going to do any better than 3 to 1 on feed conversion. Occasionally, and I mean occasionally, and not trying to sound arrogant, we have about as good a genetics as anybody. Occasionally, we'll have a pig do 2.5 to 1. That's about as good as I can manage to get out here on the ground. Now in a hog house, you can do 2.5 to 1 all the time. If you don't do 2.5 to 1, you ain't gonna get a bonus check. But out here on the ground, having to deal with the weather, heat, cold, all the stuff that goes on being outside. 3 to 1 is about the best you can hope for. Just being realistic. 3.5 to 1 is not terrible. That's the range you want to be in. 3 to 3.5 is about. Any worse than that, you might need some better genetics. Well, what that means is that to make 100 pounds of pork, it's going to take 300, 350 pounds of feed. When you start feeding out a batch of pigs and you've got 10 pigs eating, that adds up quick. A 250-pound pig is going to eat 10 pounds of feed a day. Right along, 10 pounds every day. A 100-pound pig is going to eat 5. 125-pound pig anyway will eat 5. Well, you multiply that by 5 or 10 pigs, you're talking about a bunch of feed a day. And people can't do that. I see ads on Craigslist, people trying to sell their pigs because they can't believe they're eating that much. There was somebody had 5 pigs, so they're eating a bag a day. They couldn't afford to feed them. Well, they're eating a bag a day. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be, if you got a good pig, it's still going to be 3 pounds of feed to make a pound of pork. You can figure that out before you put them in the pen to feed. But you got to multiply that times how many pigs you got. And if you got 10 in there, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Watch her. She's trying to take a taste of your shoe.
Oh. These right here ain't friendly as they move. That's just something you need to remember. I keep telling people, feed is your main cost. Once you get these pens built and get them built about halfway right, now you're going to have to do a little fixing. You're going to have to do like I'm talking. We're painting this because we're doing it as a business and we're selling produce here, and everything we do has got to look a little better than normal. You know, you can get away with a whole lot if you're just doing stuff for yourself and then when you're dealing with the public. But some of what we're doing is just for looks, and some of it's because it needs doing. I mean, you want the management's important. You know, the 2 most important things on a hog farm is genetics and management. You got to have the genetics to have good pigs, and you got to have the management to have good pigs. But anyway, maybe that'll help you a little bit. I appreciate you watching, and remember, you can do all this stuff. You won't ever do it sitting on the couch thinking about it. You never plow a field or turn it over into mine. And I appreciate you watching.
Kill the babies again.